Whew. Appreciate you guys being here tonight. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that like, hit that subscribe, do all that good stuff. We asked you on Twitter today, who's the team on Georgia's schedule that's giving you the quote-unquote sneaky upset alert vibes? Top three responses were a consensus answer: South Carolina, Tennessee, and Ole Miss. Behind, of course, the number one answer, which was nobody, Paul. Ain't nobody beating them dogs this year. They too damn good. That was definitely the number one answer, Paul. But that's not the one we're going to address tonight. We're going to talk about these three teams. I think those three football games, for good reason, are the ones that most Georgia fans are circling and saying that's going to be our tight game. We got to be ready for that one. We got to be ready for that one. We got to be ready for that one, right? Let's talk about each one of them. The first one coming up on the list is South Carolina. It is the third week of the season. It is the first SEC start against a formidable opponent for a first-year starting quarterback in Carson Beck, which was the reasoning most of you guys gave me on Twitter, which is a very fine reasoning, by the way. I mean, it's qualified. It is one that we can prove, yes, that will be a test because it's his first test. The first test is oftentimes the hardest as a starting quarterback. And by the way, say what you want about Spencer Rattler on the other side. He is a winnable quarterback. You can win SEC quarterback or SEC games, even if you're outmatched with Spencer Rattler. I think we were proving that against Tennessee last year. We were proving that against Clemson last year, right? There were moments of those football games where Spencer Rattler and a lesser talented football team played up to the caliber of a more superior talented football team. There's no reason that can't happen against the University of Georgia this year, week 3. But here's why I'm telling you it ain't going to happen. You ever noticed how much obvious and open respect Kirby Smart has for, quote, the other guy on the headsets? You ever heard him talk about after a football game where, he beat Samford 33-10, or he lumped up on Kent State by 4 touchdowns instead of maybe 7 like he could have? Have you ever heard him mention the fact that he's been on the other side of those games, that he's been on the headsets on the other sideline in those moments, and how he carries and garners respect for the situation that other football coach is in? Y'all ever heard him say that? Because I have. I hear him say that almost every single year, where he doesn't necessarily beat the shit out of a football team that he probably should have beat the shit out of. Every single year we hear it. In fact, I don't know of very many SEC football teams that he's blown out of the water. Mark Stoops, every year, that's a 27-10 football game. Every single year. He could say it's because Kentucky's good. He could say it's because Mark Stoops is a great football coach. But at the end of the day, when he's asked why he didn't cover the spread against Kentucky, he will start with how much admiration and respect he has for that other coach. He beat the dog doo-doo out of South Carolina at home last year. Didn't give a damn. Going for it on 4th and short. First down, mother. Really, really aggressively beating the ever-loving shit out of the South Carolina Gamecocks last year. Do y'all remember that? Because I sure as hell do. And I've never seen him do it to a football coach. I have never seen him blatantly embarrass, purposefully embarrass another football coach, particularly in their home stadium, let alone a guy that used to work for him. You know what I think? I think Kirby Smart don't like Shane Beamer. I think so. Maybe it's just me. This is not sourced. This is nothing. I have nothing to back this up on, except for the fact that track record of always protecting the other guy on the other sideline and then beating him 45-7 at home, that shit's embarrassing. That's like, I don't like you. That's like, you know what? You took a lateral move. You left my staff in 2017 to go coach for Lincoln Riley's tight ends. You know what? We're going to beat you 45-7 at home. That's what we're going to do. We're going to walk into your stadium, and we're going to hang up damn near 50. Actually, I think it was 52-7. We're going to put 50 on y'all in your own home, and we're not going to have no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, people telling me in my mentions today, South Carolina, watch out, might sneak up on you. South Carolina, as long as Shane Beamer is the head coach of South Carolina, they ain't sneaking up on you, bro. They not. There is something about that man that Kirby Smart clearly and obviously does not like. All right, so that's the South Carolina run. I've already kind of given it to you on Tennessee. By November 18th, when they're supposed to play Tennessee, Tennessee will already have gone through South Carolina, A&M, Alabama, and Kentucky in 4 weeks in a row. They will be a shell of themselves come November 18th. Tennessee will either be a one-loss football team playing for a national title game on November 18th, or they will be a 2 or 3 loss football team ready to not get their brains beat in by the, eventual SEC East champs in Georgia. That is the only two ways this checks out, right? Tennessee is either ready to play for a college football playoff this year with Joe Milton as their starting quarterback, and that game, November 18th, will be the biggest game in college football this year, or they will have 2 losses by the time that game rolls around, and it won't fucking matter. Sorry, I said the F word. I got to stop doing that. Which one of those is more likely to happen? I'm probably going to say this one, right? I'm probably going to say it's more likely that Alabama and +1 more gets Tennessee by the time November 18th rolls around, which brings us to the football team that I think you should be not necessarily scared of, but you should have your antennas up for, and that's Ole Miss. I tweeted it today. I think there are 3 things that you have to do to overcome a massive underdog, which any 14-point spread against Georgia, in my opinion, is a massive underdog situation because it's so hard to score on that defense if they are in kill the clock mode offensively, which they will still maintain and have this year. So if you're going to overcome a 14-point spread, which is what almost every single football game will be this year for the Georgia Bulldogs, then you have to be able to do 3 things. You have to limit possessions, which is a fancy football way of saying you have to be able to run the football and do it successfully and willingly. Okay. And I think with Judkins, they're going to be able to do that at Ole Miss this year. Additionally, it's important to have a willing quarterback run game because that just adds one more thing, right? And I know it sounds simple, but it is what it is. If you could just maintain a run game that averages about 3.5 yards a carry against Georgia, you can keep their offense off the field. You can keep your defense off the field long enough to get them some type of breather. I think Ole Miss has an attempt or an ability to limit the number of possessions this year. I also think if you're going to beat Georgia, you have to score explosively. You're not going to be able to dink and dunk all the way down the field. Mississippi State's tried to do this year after year. RIP Mike Leach. They tried to do it year after year under Mike Leach, and they would end up scoring about 20 points and make it really, really painstaking for Georgia. And they would have 3 or 4 scoring drives, maybe 4 scoring drives where they were 15 plays. Lane Kiffin ain't that. Okay. Lane Kiffin can design up winners. Lane Kiffin can have 3-score playing drives, right? Or 3-play scoring drives. He absolutely can. So you have to be able to design up winners and explosive plays, and Lane Kiffin can do that. And I think most importantly, you have to have irrational confidence. Okay. You have to believe you are better than you are. So you have to have those 3 things. You have to be able to limit possessions, aka run the football correctly and willingly. You have to be able to score on explosive plays, and you have to have irrational confidence. I just described Lane Kiffin's Tinder profile. Are kids still on Tinder? I don't know. I haven't been single in 10 years. Whatever you kids are, Hinge. All right. I just described Lane Kiffin's Hinge profile. That's what I just did. I mean, he is the definition of irrational confidence. Appreciate you guys for being here tonight. I can't believe, just a little insight, we normally have like 4 pages of show notes here on the doc. All right. 4 pages. Tonight we had 6. Tonight we ran through 6 pages of show notes in a matter of 53 minutes. And we had a 5-minute intro. So we're really only 48 minutes in. I got to tell you something, man. I am not a John Deere, but I be steady mowing. We'll see y'all later. Oh, hey there. What you just watched was a portion of our live broadcast, Nothing But Rants, NBR, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. They're not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. If you want to join us live, we are live Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 9 p.m. here on the channel. Please subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. If you like it, there's probably more in one of these windows. We'll see you next time.